Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We're here to give you a quick life update of what's going on with me and my wife and our family. We want to thank the new subscribers who've come in our absence for the last about 4 to 5 months. Been a while, but people were still um, coming in and joining the Tiny Little Blessings group. Yes. And we thank you for that. For our long-term channel subscribers, we really want to thank you. It's been a blessing that you stayed with us, and we just want to update you, let you know what's going on, and here we go.
So I know that the last time you guys saw me, my husband, or saw the last video that we put out some months ago, I believe I was about 15 or 16 weeks, I think at that point, pregnant, and I was giving an update. Back in September, like right at the end, very end of September, unfortunately, we suffered a late-term miscarriage. And that's been pretty tough on us because if you've been with us for a while, you've been watching our videos, you know that this is not our first loss. And so anytime we experience something like this, it's tough. It's not easy. And we always just kind of have to take some time to reset and to, gather ourselves and process what we have just experienced and so forth and so on. So that's kind of what we've been doing. Um, it's been really tough because it's been especially hard because not only did we suffer a miscarriage, but it was like all the traumatic events that goes around the event itself or the miscarriage itself. Um, Late September, like I said, everything was fine with the pregnancy. We were doing well, going to appointments fine. Baby looked good. But then one day I just went to the bathroom and I saw a little bit of blood. I told my husband immediately, and then we kind of got ourselves together, and headed to the hospital. And it was at the hospital that we were told that we didn't have a heartbeat for the baby anymore. Um, so after learning that, we immediately followed up with my doctor the next day, and at that doctor's appointment, we set a day to have a procedure done. And so at that point, it was Monday. So we set the appointment for Friday. So we were to go to the report to the hospital Friday so that we could have the procedure done. But in the process between Monday and Friday is when everything kind of just blew up on us. Because that next day I started bleeding, and we were at home when the bleeding started, and then ultimately that home where we were at home is where we had the entire miscarriage. Like that's when that happened, if you know what I mean. And then after that we had agreed to have testing done so that we could try to see if anything went wrong. And so we called the doctor, had to go back to the doctor. And when we got there, that's when I learned that it wasn't finished. The miscarriage was not finished. So we.
No, and I was going to say, to expound on what my wife was saying, as far as the miscarriage, um, the baby was passed at home. So part of the traumatic parts of this was we had to get the baby, process the baby, because it's still our child, do right by the baby, and take it to our doctor so there can be tests done and see if there was anything wrong going on. And if you don't know, at that time of weeks, the baby is was probably about the size of my hand. Very beautiful young lady. Um,
It was a girl.
was a girl, and we just had to hold it all in and then move on to try to get back to our my wife's doctor, get the baby tested, all the fluid that we could get, and get back in. So that in itself was like a crushing blow. So that's just to help you understand the weight that we was under.
Yeah. Yeah, like he said, that was the first set of events that just began to continue to spiral. And so after we made it to the doctor, like I said, that was when we found out it wasn't finished. So we came back home, and as I continued to bleed, and when we got back home, again, I just continued to bleed, but the bleeding eventually during the like a couple hours later just started picking up really, really fast. And so I don't know if y'all know about those hospital pads, but if you do know anything about those, you know that they're like long and thick and heavy. They're meant to hold a lot. So I was using those things. I was changing those things like every hour to 2 hours, and that's just how much the bleeding picked up. It didn't freak me out initially because I honestly just thought it was part of the process, especially that the doctor told me it wasn't finished. So, um, going on throughout the day, continue to change the pads, going about our daily routine as much as possible. Later on in the evening, James decided to take Giselle out walking in the neighborhood, like he always does, and so I ended up being home by myself. And while I was here, after they were gone, I went to the bathroom to change another pad. When I changed this pad, I just, I got up and then I went to wash my hands. And that was like the last thing I remember, because the next thing I know, I woke up and I was on the floor from washing my hands. And so when I opened my eyes, initially I couldn't move. I couldn't move a thing. I just was looking around and realizing that I was on the floor, but I couldn't really move anything. And so I just remember thinking, like, if I could just make it to the phone, then I could call my husband or either call help. And so I had to lay there. I couldn't move for a few minutes. So I just kept trying to wait to see if I could get enough strength and muster up enough strength to eventually I was able to at least get to my knees to crawl. I was able to crawl over to the phone on the table. I just got enough. I put enough strength together to get that phone, and I fell right back to the floor because I just couldn't even do anything. So at that point, it was obvious that I would be calling 911. That would be the better choice at first.
The best choice.
Yeah. And so, and what they did when I called 911, because I was explaining everything to her, like, because my heart was racing so fast, I was out of breath, my breathing was so labored, like, and so anyway, the 911 operator was able to call him. I asked her if she could call my husband so that he could know what was happening, because he was somewhere right up the street. And so she was able to call him, and he was able to make it back home around the same time that the EMT and the paramedics and things got here. So they all came rushing upstairs to our bedroom where I was on the floor. And immediately they had to begin to administer things and inject things so that, because like I said, my breathing was so labored and my heart was just beating so fast, I couldn't even move. They kept asking me if I could move anything, if I could. They would like lift my arm and see if I could do it myself. I could not lift anything. I was so weak. And so they had to just kind of get just immediately, like they had to do an IV immediately. They had to start putting stuff in to at least get my vitals to a stable point. And so eventually, so they did what they were doing. They were excellent. They were excellent. And they worked so like, and they kept telling me, they kept assuring me, you're going to be okay. Cause I kept asking with the little strength I had. And eventually they were able to get me into the chair and get me down the stairs, so that they could put me into the ambulance. We made it to the hospital, but when we got there, mind you, it's only Tuesday. And everything wasn't scheduled till Friday. But when we got to the hospital, the doctors were like, "No, we need to do this procedure right now, like now, because you're gonna continue to bleed out, because it's incomplete. The miscarriage is incomplete, so you still have parts of that inside that's keeping your body bleeding." So they were like, "We can't even send you home, even if we wanted to, because your blood has fallen so low that it won't even be able to rise at this point on its own." So I then from there had to have an immediate blood transfusion, an emergency blood transfusion, on top of the procedure that I had to have done in order to complete the miscarriage. So, of course, with all of that, I had to end up having a hospital stay. So, I had to stay in the hospital a couple of days while they monitored, how my blood levels could come back up and just overall how I would be doing. So, stayed in the hospital a couple of days, and then we came back home. And of course, when we got home, it was a lot. Um, if you're listening to this story, I'm pretty sure it's a lot for you to hear. So imagine like us having to actually go through all of that. And it was just it was a lot to process because everything just happened so quickly. And so we just, it took a lot to process. And that's kind of what we have, been dealing with. And we, of course, like I said, this is not our first loss. So we knew what we had to do. We knew what we were going to have to be dealing with.
We did a lot of counseling.
Yeah.
Some reflecting. Mm-hmm. Some
just pulling back.
Some pulling back. Yeah. Some crying. Just a little bit of everything to try to get ourselves back on our feet and pretty much back to normal, where mm-hmm. we was able to function because, as you know, we have a rainbow baby, mm-hmm. Giselle. Mm-hmm. She still needs to be taken care of by her parents.
Mm-hmm. And we knew that we still needed to be present for her. So we, knew what we had to do. So that was what we have been processing and working through during this time. And I just want to say thank you to those of you who have, because we have been having people reach out to us via text, phone calls, emails, messages across all of our social media, even commenting on videos, asking how we're doing, and all sorts of messages. So, and I know that I've realized that we have been seeming a little distant from everyone. But this is what we've been, having to deal with and having to process through. So, we knew, like I said, the work that we had to put in order to get to a place where we can now talk comfortably about it. So that's what we have been up to last several months.
So other than that, we are doing better.
Yeah.
And mm-hmm. the house is functioning mm-hmm. pretty well. Mm-hmm. And little Rainbow, little Missy Giselle, is doing quite fine.
Yes, she is.
Ball of energy. Mm-hmm. She is keeping us on our toes, mm-hmm. and just every day is just something new to experience from her.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Speaking of new things to experience, I mean, that girl has been keeping us busy, okay? Booked and busy. So we have, so I have a new nickname for her. I call her Miss Spelling Bee because, the girl ain't even 2. She's not even 2 yet, and she's already spelling words. And when I say spelling words, she already has a growing vocabulary already of words thus far. Stop is one of her words. Ant, bee, cat, sun, go. And we're currently working on the word more, right?
To help her when she wants something else, because
mm-hmm.
the whining is not working anymore. So we got to teach her more, means that we're asking to get some more stuff. Mm-hmm. And hopefully within a week or so that will stick to.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just trying to, give her more language to function. I mean, she's going to have to learn anyway, so.
But now the funny thing is, mommy and daddy is not the biggest words she used.
Mm-mm.
It's all these other ones.
You would think, because she's not even 2.
Awesome. That's another. Now, she don't know how to spell that one, but one of the games that I play, the word awesome is said.
Mm-hmm.
On her electronic table, awesome. Her handheld baby game, awesome. So out of the clear blue sky, now she just
blurts out awesome.
Blurts out awesome. So she's learning.
Yeah, she is. And matter of fact, I will show y'all what we talking about. Okay, so here you go. You see what we're saying? The girl can go. She can go. So she is on her way. She's counting. We're also, working with numbers 1 through 10 now. She is loving it. She's like a sponge. She's just soaking it all up, and I love it. It's such a joy. We are so grateful to be able to still have this experience, with her, because she's like a sponge. We just teach her different things, and she just like soaks it all in. So she is getting ready to have her 2nd birthday. 2, y'all.
The 28th.
Right.
She will be 2.
I know. Can y'all believe it? Like, we had her with y'all, on camera with y'all. And it's been 2 years already. So, yeah, it's crazy how time is just flying. But, yeah. So, that's what we've been up to, you guys. I am grateful that we are able to kind of move in the direction that we're moving in as far as healing. Because what James, I want to tell on something else when he was saying about baby, we later found out that it was a girl. And so we didn't, when I say later, I mean because the blood work was already done. But we were holding off on, because we were actually planning a virtual gender reveal. And so we were holding off on the gender. So we decided that was part of, our processing too, was we had decided to find out what we were having. And so we found out it was a girl. So our therapist kind of suggested a multitude of things, but one of the biggest things we did was we named her.
Naming the baby. Mm-hmm. Instead of just saying baby.
Baby, right.
So we named the baby Elena Marie Cash.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so that's been the biggest thing as part of our healing, is to be able, and it's exciting to be able to, call her name or say her name whenever we refer to her. So, so we get to be able to just, baby Elena, when we're talking about her or when we mention something about her. So that's been probably one of the biggest pieces to our healing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we have been doing, better, much better, and we're hoping that we can come back to you guys and, give you guys some more content, jump back in, because we really do enjoy seeing the channel continuing to grow. So thank you to all of our supporters. And thank you all for holding us in your thoughts and even prayers, and thinking enough of us to continue to watch our videos and continuing to subscribe. So thank you. So welcome to all of the new family members. And we hope to get back to you guys really soon. So I'll be jumping back in probably before James. But he'll be back too. He'll give you guys some more him too. So, but we just wanted to really just give, we owed you guys an update because y'all have been with us. So we wanted to do that. We wanted to make some time to sit down and do that.
Yes, and part of the updating is because March 3rd was supposed to be our target date.
Right.
And that's right around the corner. Mm-hmm. And some of the
Check
the
in.
messages and check-ins were about
How's
what's
the progress?
how's the progress. So
how's it going?
we
So,
had to basically,
I know, keep breaking hearts along the way, so to speak, and that's been a challenge too. So that's why we were like, okay, we want to just really just let y'all know. So it means a lot. Y'all mean a lot to us still.
but we thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, new subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, long-term subscribers. And hey, if you know somebody that might like these videos, share it with them and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Show some love. And hit that notification bell because you might get a ding ding back at you.
Real soon.
Quickly from her, maybe from me. But yeah, hit those buttons. Stay with us, and we will definitely be back at you.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for all of y'all that are with us now.
Yeah. So guys, until next time. Oh, and until next time, even if you guys have questions, y'all know that we're pretty open people. And so if you have any questions, any genuine questions that you really want to ask us, feel free to ask us and maybe we'll answer them in some of our upcoming videos if we can do that. So until next time, you guys, we will check in with y'all later. Bye.